Hi guys, welcome to Memo's Tutorials. Today we are doing the last part of the question. We are told, they said if OY is equal to NOx, use the results of B and D to evaluate your M and N. Results in B, they told us that OX is half of A plus B. But then now we are saying OY is equal to N times our OX. So it's N multiplying our half of A plus B, right? So which will give us half NA plus half NB, right? Let me just put it here. Our OY now is equal to half NA plus half NB. All right. Okay. So remember in part D, we got our OY as B plus 3MA minus MB, right? So now they said using these results, find the value for M and the value for N. How are we going to do that? We are simply going to equate these two equations and then we solve for M and N, okay? So I'm going to erase this part and rewrite them so that I save my board, okay? So we said OY is equal to B plus 3MA minus 3MB, right? And the other OY, we said it's a half NA plus half NB. Okay, so how are we going to simplify for M and N? Take note of this. And remember, part E of the question carries a lot of marks, about 4 marks to find M and N. This is what you do. You write all the vectors with A and you equate them together. On the left, we have got 3MA. We are equating it to half NA. So 3MA is equal to half NA. And vectors in B together, we have got B minus 3MB is equal to half NB. And the next part of the question, you are getting rid of the vectors like that. So you'll have 3M is equal to half N this side. And if you do the same on the B's, if you get rid of these B's, right, you ignore them, you remain with 1 minus 3M is equal to half N. So now you have two simultaneous equations, right? So the first part, let's use this equation. With this equation, we have 1 minus 3M is equal to half N. So let's take, what can I do? Let's take 3M to the, let's bring half N this side. It's 1 minus half N is equal to 3M. You know, whenever you're dealing with equations and you have got fractions, the first thing that you need to do is to get rid of fractions, right? So let's multiply everything by a 2 here. We multiply everything by a 2. We don't want to work with fractions because they confuse. 2 times 1 will be 2 minus half of 2 will just be 1. So 2 minus N is equal to 6M, right? This side we also do the same. We just want to get rid of the fractions. We multiply by 2. So 6M is equal to N, right? So N is equal to 6M. So with what we have got there, we said N is equal to 6M. So in place of N this side, let's put 6M. So it's going to be 2 minus 6M is equal to 6M. Just in place of N, we are replacing with the 6M. So now we have 2 minus 6M is equal to 6M. Let's take 6M to the other side, okay? So we will be having 2 is equal to 6M plus 6M. Why am I saying plus? We were having a minus this side. When it goes to the other side, it's going to be a plus 6M, right? So 2 is equal to 12M. We divide by 12 both sides to get the value for M, right? So M in other terms, it's 1 over 6, right? Because 2 over 12, when you reduce it, it gives us 1 over 6. So remember, we used equation 6M is equal to N, right? So now we know the value for m is 1 over 6. So 6 times 1 over 6 should give us the value of n. So 6 and the 6 will cancel, will remain with the 1. So the value for n is equal to 1. Okay, so this whole thing is worth 4 marks. Okay, I will try and explain it again. So what did we do? We equated the two OYs. We had, for answer for our D, we said B plus 3MA minus 3MB should be equal to half NA plus half NB. And I said, let's take the vectors in A together. On the left side, we have 3MA. On the right, we have got half NA. We equated them together. And we said, let's ignore the vector. We will remain with 3m is equal to half n. Let's get rid of the fraction. We multiplied by 2. We remained with 6m is equal to n. That was our equation in terms of n. When we go to the b part, we remain with the b minus 3mb is equal to half nb. The b's cancelled. We ignored the b's. We remained with 1 minus 3m is equal to half n. Let's get rid of the fractions, right? When we multiplied by 2 everything, it gave us 2 minus 6m is equal to n, right? What did I do here? I took half n to the other side and took 3m to the other side. So when half n comes this side, it becomes minus n. When 3m goes to the other side, it becomes a positive 3m, right? So after clearing the fractions, we remained with 2 minus n is equal to 6m. And then, making use of this one, we said 6m is equal to n. So in place of n, let's write 6m. So it became 2 minus 6m is equal to 6m. Then we took 6m to the other side of the equation, and it became a positive 6m. 6m plus 6m, we got 12m. And when we divided by 12 both sides, we got our value for m as 2 over 12, which is exactly 1 over 6. With 6m being equal to n, we then said in place of m, let's write 1 over 6. The 6's, they cancelled out, and we remained with our value for n as a 1. Okay, so this marks the end